I'd like to show you how to load a web mapping service in ArcGIS Pro. A web mapping service is typically resources such as images or data that are in layers, raster layers that are served over the web, and you access them via a URL that you input into a layer here in ArcGIS Pro. So if I do a web search in Minnesota, there's a MNGeo or Minnesota Geospatial Image Service. And so if I look in MNGeo in a web search for WMS, it kicks me to this page, and here's a list of photos and hillshade and topographic maps, then the technical specs. And if I click on this technical specs, it gives me, for the various resources, URLs. So I can grab one of these URLs and enter them in the proper location in ArcGIS Pro and get a WMS loaded and then access the information. So I'm going to copy this URL here, and sometimes it takes a while to figure out which is the right URL because there'll be many that they serve up in many different locations, but in this case I've done this before. And then if I go into Insert and a Connection here in ArcGIS, I can add a new WMS server. So if I select that new WMS server and I right click here to paste the URL I had before, I can say OK, and then it shows up here in my servers. And if I look then by expanding this list, I can see all the images that are available. In this case, they have regional, statewide, or Twin Cities Metro. So looking here at the Twin Cities Metro, for example, I have 2016 color 7 county WMS layer. And so if I drag that over onto my data layer here, I can then, onto my canvas, I can drop it and it shows up here. And then I see that there's this image that shows up, and so I can zoom in. Now I could use this as a base or a background for digitizing or any of these images. So I can drag other images from the same set. For example, statewide image here. I might want a 2017 Color Farm Services Administration, or a CIR, a color infrared. And so again, if I left click and drag across with my kludgy mouse, I get that 2017 data. If I wanted to, for example, digitize the canopy, I could use this as a background. Now, a couple of things to consider when you're loading these WMS images is they're registered to a certain level of accuracy. And so if you digitize off of several images, you'll see small shifts from one image to the next. So if I turn this image off and back on, you can see that the features shift a little bit. Now the building tops here in particular are shifting because there's this orthographic lean or perspective lean. But even features like the corners of sidewalks, which should be mapped in the proper location because these are geo-rectified images or supposed to be orthographic images, there's still some registration error from image to image. You can also see the differences between these in the raster resolution. So this FSA, this reddish image here, is about a 1 meter resolution, whereas this aerial photo from the 7 counties, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's about either a 6-inch or more likely a 12-inch, so a 30 centimeter resolution. I can look that up in the metadata. So you have to be careful in interpreting and know that you have the proper source, and be careful about slight shifts between sources. But a WMS is a valuable source of data, and there are lots of them out there if you want to interpret off the images for digitization.